Yo. Yo.
How we looking?
Good.
Howdy. All right. So I'm just gonna come out and say this now. I screwed up big time in the round table because like
was it that bad?
I went back and I listened to it and I was like, man, this is really bad because like I don't normally get like I used to when I was younger, like get really really nervous. And like the first time, like when I got on the first time and I glitched out, like I wasn't nervous that time. And then when I got on the second time, I was shaking so bad. And I just like, I forgot everything I was going to say. And I was really upset. And I was like, God damn it. And I was firing off tweets after that. And I was pissed off. That's all I'm
There we go.
Now you'll be good if you're on the next one. But well, it's just like, think about it. The thing I hate the most, and this happens when I listen back to some of our recordings for the podcast, is like there's this tinging that comes from Coley, and I don't know what it is, and it pisses him off just as much as it pisses me off because it's some little like zzz in the background, and he's like, "This doesn't happen with any other shows I do." I'm like, "Well, Coley, it's happening here, so we gotta deal with this here." So you're in a position where you were ready to go the first time, but then choppiness fucked with you. That wasn't your fault.
Well, it's my fault that I have probably the worst Wi-Fi in the entire.
Well, it is that you should probably figure that out, but but still, like I don't blame you because then it threw off the rhythm. The rhythm is half the battle with this. So
it is. I'm gonna take off my jacket. I'm very hot.
Dude, I had the same thing. I was trying to wear my like Red Sox like jacket, just the version of that, Red Sox version of that, and it was just like I'm steaming up. I can't do this right now. I was going for fashion. It just didn't work.
I was gonna wear my my autographed Fernando Abad jersey, and I was like, I don't know.
I don't want to bring out the big guns too early.
I have like 4 different backstories with Fernando Abad, and it's the weirdest thing. But we are boys. We are boys. Yep. Like we DM back and forth.
This kid's obsessed with Abad, dude.
Fernando Abad. I was at the Red Sox Giants game last year. Remember the game? It was like 16 innings. It was Yaz's first game there.
Yeah.
So I was there. I got
depressing
there 3
loss,
hours.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did. Andrew Cashner had a blown save.
Big cash.
I was there. I got there 3 hours early for batting practice, and I brought my Abad jersey, and I knew Abad was on the Giants, and he was out in center field with Johnny Cueto. Like Johnny Cueto's a much better pitcher than Mr. Abad. No offense to him,
Mr. Abad.
So I was screaming his name, and I was holding up the jersey, and he couldn't hear me. And then he was running back in, and then Johnny Cueto chased after him and got his attention. And then he just turns around, he looks at me, he gives me a thumbs up, and I was like, yeah.
Well, you got to factor he doesn't see a lot of Fernando Abad jerseys floating around.
When he signed mine, I said to him, I was like, "Is this the first time you've ever seen your jersey?" Like I didn't mean it in like a rude way, and he's like, "Yes." Like I've never seen my jersey before. Just so sad.
That's gotta be a big deal for him. So
it is a big deal. He's
I remember that.
He's my boy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm rocking my Gosling's Clear Rum right now.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that's the thing. We can't get too upset at people that like aren't of age to drink because that was something that initially Jared's like, we got to kick them out. I'm like, if they're not 21, we don't have to kick them out.
I know it's tough. It's tough. Yeah. When I'm 21, I'll the first thing I'll buy will be a nice stout of Gosling's.
Yeah, a little Gosling's rum action, a little ginger beer. Let's do this thing.
All right.
Let's dance.
How have you been over the past month, good sir?
It's been weird. It's definitely been weird. If anything, it's been busier for me because I've been starting to lead the AMAs for Bleacher Report, and that's one thing. Our talent booker Heather has been like, everyone just assumes that all these athletes are sitting around doing nothing, but since everyone assumes all these athletes are doing that, they're getting so many more requests to do interviews because everyone's like, we're all doing nothing. So now they're doing a ton of interviews, like way more than they ever would have before. So it's kind of it's backwards. But yeah, to that point, it's been great because that's been good exposure, getting to talk to D Wade, a couple NFL draft prospects, Taco Fall last week. So it's like you get really cool experiences with athletes from all over. But for the podcast specifically, it's been great because we've had a guest every week.
Yeah.
So
I especially, I don't know, I don't want to put this in a rude way, but the Billy Weiss, his interview, I liked that Jared wasn't there, and because I was like, you know, he's Billy White's like kind of like a mild mannered guy,
Yeah.
and like those two personalities just don't go well together. And I thought that was probably one of my favorite interviews. I thought he was a great guy.
And Jared even said as much. Jared said he listened back and he thought it was really good. But here's the deal. I'll put this nicely as well. I've gotten to the point now, and I'm glad I'm at this point because it wasn't like this early on, where I know I can hold my own in this field. I know I can do my own thing. I know hypothetically I could start doing my own podcast and it would do well. But I do understand the value of the chemistry that Jared and I have built and kind of the group, the following that we built. Like, it's very important. Yeah. But trust me, there are times, like with the Billy Weiss interview, where it's a relief to just kind of be able to run point and just be able to be like, I can do this easily. And I know that I can build this kind of flow with people that I don't even know. It's some weird talent I have where I can make it seem like I've known you for longer than I have. And Billy fell right into that in a perfect way. He was like, everything was smooth. Everything was just, it went really well. And to your point, I think what Jared brings to the podcast, he has an endless knowledge of the Red Sox. He different from me. He has this intensity that I don't really get to.
he's like unreplaceable in a sense. Like he
is rowdy, and I'm glad he is, because that's not really me. I'm more just kind of like, I try to stay, cool, calm, collected, and he's like, "We are back, Big Cock Brock," and I'm like, every nickname has to do with someone's dick, but yeah, it's a combination that I think has worked really well because we aren't similar really in any way. Outside of our like for the Red Sox, we are very different creatures, and so it creates for some really good interviews. But yeah, I was glad I was able to run point on the Billy Weiss one because Billy is a very mild-mannered guy.
Yes,
and I don't know how an interview with Billy Weiss would have been. It was like, "We are here with the team for Doug." It's like he's probably like, "Whoa, I just take pictures, dude."
When did you when was the moment that you realized like you wanted to get into like podcasting? What was it back like was that evident when you had Alan Craig Studios, or was it like before that when you were like, this is something I really want to do?
Podcasting specifically wasn't really, as crazy as it sounds, kids, it wasn't really that big a deal until like 2017. It hasn't been podcasts. Like, I know everyone has a podcast now, but like it wasn't really overly relevant until like the last 4 years, like 3 or 4 years.
Until people got bored.
Yeah, it's like, oh, and also we want a different way to consume our content. I think once people started realizing, myself included, that you can control the content, you can control when you do it. If you're good enough, you can get guests on. I was like, oh, damn, I should probably try to get involved with this. But more importantly, I got involved with Section 10 because things I could tell I was working at Nesson for a couple of years as a production assistant. And I could tell there was just not, like there wasn't really any next step to go to. Like you cut the highlights, you work with the anchors, you do this, you do that. It's a great experience being 22, 23, but it wasn't like I wanted to do more of my own thing. Like I wanted to do my own, like build my own personality, build my own following. And Gary Streisky's my guy. I love Gary Streisky, still stay in touch with him. And he was their first guest. He was the first guest on the podcast. And so I was like, oh, I should give this a try. I didn't really know who Jared was at that point in 2014. It would have been 2015. So I didn't even know who Jared was 5 years ago. But I listened, and the thing that got me was the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Section 10 podcast. I was like, oh, damn, they got the PA guy.
It's official. Like that's like one of the best parts about it.
And that was episode 10. I was like, you have the PA guy by episode 10. They must be doing something right or have some kind of connections. And I just love the rhythm. I love the pace. I just loved everything about it. I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. And so I reached out to Jared. I tried to reach out to him in the DMs, but they were closed, which is stunning. Like those DMs are always open. Bada bing, bada bing. But no, I hit him up on LinkedIn of all places, which is so bizarre. Like I've never messaged anyone on LinkedIn, but that was the only way I could get through. I was like, I'm also a fellow Endicott alum. He went to Endicott, but he went to night classes, so it doesn't really count. But anyway, I wasn't gonna bring that up in my pitch email. But I was like, I really want to get involved. Like whatever I can do, I can produce. I can do this, do that, because I did gain a lot of editing experience at Nesson. And he was like, yeah, we're actually looking for a producer, so this works out really well. If you want to hop by Pete Blackburn's house for episode 11. And I end up going there, and I'm like, this is so weird, because I get to the door. And Thrill Ride, I don't know if you guys know Thrill Ride, the wrestler guy that does some stuff with Barstool, but he is a presence. He is a big dude, and he's like, whoa! Like, he's going nuts at all times.
He's wild.
He's wild. And so I show up to Pete's door. I'm knocking. No one's answering. I'm like, am I getting? This has to be a prank. Like this isn't. Somebody's watching me right now. I'm getting punked. And Thrill Ride walks up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Little did I know he was the guest for the show that day.
No.
He's like, hey, what's up? Are you Pete? And I was like, no, I'm Steve. He goes, Steve. I'm like, what? So I had no idea what was going on. And as I'm saying that, Pete opens the door and he's like, hey man, what's going on? I knew Pete because we both did sports radio shows at Endicott. So I had already known Pete, but yeah, we go down into his mom's basement and record the podcast, and now it's been 311 episodes since then. So pretty nice.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we wait, can you hear me?
What? Yeah, you just cut out.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we were at a winter weekend, me and Thomas, and then I ran into Jared last year in 2018. I met him there. I didn't get to see you there. But yeah, this year we were just at winter weekend, and we saw you guys. We met a bunch of people, and we were just like, yeah, this would kind of be a good idea to get into, maybe, start talking to some people and start doing some podcasts maybe. And, it just seemed like a really good thing to get into. So we're glad you're here. Sure.
Yeah. It's something that I think you need to be dedicated to do it. You need to be dedicated to pull it off. And if you're not really committed, then it's just not going to work. Cause I've given up a lot of like social life and like just a lot of free time with family and stuff to edit, produce, record, do all this shit on top of the Bleacher Report job. So, if you're dedicated, it'll work, but you really need to put a lot of time into it for sure.
I got to say, probably just the best overall human being I met at Winter Weekend. Just it has to be Garen Austin. She was the nicest human. She came, like, there was like 3 sets of rope in between us. Like, I don't know how there was this much security for like the Nesson personnel, but she snuck under it and she was talking to me for like 20 minutes. And I was like she really went out of her way to do that. And I think she's awesome. I mean, that was one of the best just people I met at Winter Weekend.
She's really
genuine. That's my girlfriend there. Yeah, no, she's great. She like it's that whole thing was so weird because like here's the thing. I still thought she sucked. So like the fact that we're like good now doesn't mean that I don't still think she was bad when she started. I do think she was bad when she started.
She did have some pretty bad slip ups.
And so like, but it would kill me because, and I can honestly tell her this now without her getting offended about it, but it killed me that she seemed so uncomfortable in her position like 3 years in. Like I had seen every sideline reporter dating back to like Tina Servasio and Hazel May and like all these sideline reporters. Like Heidi Watney, like the whole list, even Jamie Erdahl and I love Jamie. Jamie's the best. She was really good in the brief stint that she did. I love Gary Streisky. And so the reason I was upset at Garen is because, well, multiple reasons, because I didn't think she was good at it at first. Yeah. And she took over for Gary Streisky, who got screwed at Nesson. They had Gary do like 5-6 different shows that weren't in his contract. And then the second he asked for a little more money, they like banned him from sideline. So Nesson does that shit. Like you gotta watch out with Nesson. They do some slimy shit. So that pissed me off. And so I was right. Like Gary wasn't gonna publicly say anything about that, but like I was riding for him. So I was like, don't worry, dude. I will destroy this Garen girl. If it's the end of me, I will take her down. And so I became this like little Twitter finger warrior. And I was just going after her. But no, she is the nicest. And we've had a great little like, fake relationship here on Twitter for a year or so now. But so I feel like it's like the 1 year anniversary at this point. But it's been, that's been fun. But it's she actually does take the time with people that follow and care about what she does, for sure.
Yeah. How have you enjoyed your time with Bleacher Report? Like, when did you start? Like, how's your time been so far with Bleacher Report?
Bleacher Report is by far the best place I've ever worked at. And I haven't worked at many. It was basically after I graduated, it went Nesson. The best part about Endicott, though, was like you did 3 internships. So I got to do a semester-long internship at Comcast Sportsnet. Now they change their name every month. I guess it's NBC Sports Boston now. I believe that's what it is. But they change their name all the time. So that gave me the confidence to then go after the Nesson job. And then when things didn't work out at Nesson, I basically ended up at Bleacher Report. And it's just I love the people at BR. Like, they're real people. Like the thing I hate is that there'll be tweets that go out on the social accounts. They'll be like, yo, Steve, what is this? Trust me, I think they suck too. There are a couple tweets that get out there that I'm like, this is garbage, guys. Why did we tweet this? But yet people just assume like I tweet. I don't tweet from the BR account. That's not what I do. Like I basically lead our trending coverage on the app, and now I lead our AMA coverage. And I love doing both. It's a lot of fun. And we get coverage out to millions of people on the app. And the AMAs are awesome because now you have users that have just kind of been dicking around on the app. And now all of a sudden, Dwayne Wade's answering their questions. So, like, it's a huge deal for people that are at home. And I've loved every second of it. But I've definitely worked my ass off there because, like, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing the interviews for the AMAs if I wasn't, if they didn't trust me to do that. So it's been tricky.
When did you start doing those?
Well, let me think. I've been involved with the AMAs since last July. So I've just kind of climbed up to this point of them trusting me to lead the coverage. Jackie, my friend Jackie, who works out in San Francisco, just had a baby. She was kind of like the head of all of it. So now I've like filled in now as the full-time person. And hopefully when she gets back, I can still be doing the same stuff. And as is, they already had me doing the interviews because they know I can do that. So it's been fun. It's been 4 years now and I absolutely love it. The only awkward thing has been any BR Barstool stuff. I try to stay away from that. I know anytime Dave starts going off on something, I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm going to get dragged into this. But no, it's been fun, and I'll give them credit because they've worked around my podcast schedule as well. Like they've worked around Section 10, and they have no reason that they have to do that. They're only doing that to be nice, which is like, I love that because in the sports industry, you'll realize there are a lot of slimy people, and you gotta be as authentic as you possibly can. And that's what I love about BR. It's just full of authentic people.
That's great.
That's great. Awesome. Do you have any good guests? Do you have any guests lined up coming up or no?
The only one we had last week, we had 4. We had Taco Fall, Javon Kinlaw, who just got drafted by the Niners. Who else did we have last week? Cody Rhodes, who's a wrestler, and then Langston Galloway. But so far nothing tops. At this point, it was a week ago today with Dwayne Wade. I mean, D-Wade was awesome. Yeah. My opinion of him changed big time after doing that interview because like we were just kind of shooting the shit, and I was like, this is sick. I just kind of assumed he was going to be like too cool for school, but he's totally not. Like he can hang, regardless of what the situation is. But the only one we have confirmed for next week is Richard Hamilton, and my buddy went to UConn, so he'll love having Rip Hamilton on. But yeah, so that's for next Tuesday, and then they basically just keep coming in. Like our talent bookers will reach out and excuse me. They'll let us know, and then I execute the plan, organize the team of people that we're going to have involved that are like transcribing the answers, putting them in the app, and it just kind of has a flow to it for sure. It's a lot of work, but like we get a lot of really good content out of it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm making the assumption baseball is your favorite sport, right?
By far, yeah.
Yeah. When was like, do you have a specific memory when you were like, because like I know for me. For a while, I was dwindling in between baseball and basketball, like those two being my favorite. And then baseball just really like jumped up way, way ahead. Do you have like a specific memory of like when you realized that baseball was going to be your favorite sport?
Mo Vaughn. Mo Vaughn is the first name that comes to mind. I remember going to games my dad used to have these box seats that were so fresh with his company. And as a kid, when you're going to Fenway at 5 years old, that was back in 95. You just kind of assume those are your God-given seats. You just kind of think like, oh, these are my seats for life. This is sick. Like I get to walk out back whenever I want and get chicken fingers and come back to the seats. Like this is awesome. And I would still love to do that. But
oh yes, of course.
So at that age, it's like when we went to Fenway, it was like VIP. It's like, oh, Mr. Perrault, good day. And we, would walk by and we have this room to walk, and it's like a Fenway room to walk around. And you go into the suite, and people would always greet us, and the nicest people ever, obviously, because you're paying thousands of dollars for those seats. and so I just assumed that was going to be my entire life at Fenway Park. And so I was like, this is incredible. Like I love every second of this. Like baseball's sick. If this is what we do, this is so cool. And I just remember falling in love with Mo Vaughn and then Nomar Garcia-Parra. Those are my guys. And it's just like nothing as a kid. Because I really became like a huge Red Sox fan when I was like 5 or 6 years old. So I think it was a little earlier than most like really get into it. Mm-hmm. And it just clicked. I just knew right from the jump. I was like, I fucking love this. Like this is everything about it. The atmosphere at Fenway, just that you could see something you've never seen before. Like there's just so much. I love stats. I love being like, oh, well, this compares to this guy's season back in like 1945. I'm like, that's so cool. I got so into that in the 90s and still am. And then Tony Gwynn was just like the greatest. I was like, this guy's stats are nuts. So I'm like, Dad, check out all these stats. These are so crazy. And so everything, like I loved everything about baseball, and I still do. And but it really started in like 95. The Sox won the AL East. And I thought that was like the biggest deal ever because I had nothing to compare it to. Again, so now I'm thinking that
baseline.
Exactly. Now I'm thinking that we're going to sit in these private seats my entire life, and that the Red Sox are just going to win the AL East every year. And in the 90s, like you guys are younger, but like, 90s were tough.
Oh, I was watching a clip of when Wally was introduced.
That was bad. I was at that game. I was at that game. I remember being at that game. They used to have this thing called Kids Opening Day. And it was such this ownership. I'm surprised this ownership doesn't do it because this ownership is so corny. But they would have opening day, and then like a couple days later, the game would be a little earlier, and it was called Kids Opening Day. And the giveaways were awesome. I still have some of the giveaways. They had these mini bats, like these custom shirts, stuff that they would sell now at the Jersey Street store for like $40. But I remember they introduced Wally, and I was 7 at that point. And I'm looking at my dad like, what is that thing? Because he walks he walks out of the monster, and as a kid, and you probably saw some of the looks on the kids' faces, they're all looking at each other like, what the hell is going on? And it didn't help that the intro was so cheesy. It was like, look at that, it's a big monster. Like, shut up.
And they're all singing, and they're like trying to get everyone to sing along, and everyone just standing there with their
He came out of the monster. Shut up. Like the Red Sox fans don't want to hear that, especially at that point. They hadn't won the World Series. It would have been, 79 years. So we don't want to hear about this fluffy monster.
That's like the last thing you want to see coming out of the organization is dropping something like that.
Especially when that was kind of around when that was Nomar's rookie year. And I remember the team was good. Like the Red Sox were good then. They weren't as good as the Yankees, but they were about to get Pedro the following year. Things were really starting to like kick off for the Sox. And I think a lot of fans were like, get this friggin' thing out of here. This thing is so goofy looking. But I grew to love Wally because they used to give out these little like beanbag Wallies, these little like Beanie Baby Wallies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, this thing's awesome. I remember Jerry Remy used to have one in this little seat when he would call games with Don Orsillo. And so I used to love that. They would give those out on Kids Opening Day. But that clip is so funny. I know this girl Kelly that runs the Nesson social accounts, and I was like, you definitely tweeted this video. She's like, yeah, I tweeted that. Because like she can actually be funny. Like I think with Nesson, they try to be so beep boop bop. Like they try to be like, on Nesson tonight, the Red Sox faced. It's like just be a human. Exactly. Be like stop being this like non-person. And so I like that now. Kelly's like she's a good hang. And she knows that she can be sarcastic about this stuff. So the tweet was like, I forget what the tweet was, what the wording was. It was like, good thing we like Wally now, because it wasn't quite the case in '97. But yeah, that clip is hilarious.
Because like when you were saying your first time that you went, like I think my first time that I went was I want to say either 2006 or 2007. I was either 4 or 5. But I was under the impression that both of my parents would be going, but it was just my dad. And the entire drive out there, I was crying the entire time because I felt so bad that my mom couldn't go. And I was like, nah, you have to take her.
That's so pure. That is so pure.
I was like, you have to take her. You can't take me. And then when I got there,
he's a mama's boy at heart.
Clearly, you could tell.
And that was the last game I've ever left early. Every single game from there, I've sat in the same exact seats. I wanted to name the podcast Section 11, but you got, because I sit Section 11.
Copyright issue. No,
I know. I was like, you can't do that. I sit Section 11. I've sat there for years. So those have been my dad's season tickets for years. But and like I saw the 100th anniversary game, which was the worst baseball game probably I've ever seen played.
Dude, awful.
That is so bad. It was the greatest intro though. That was the coolest thing.
That's the only thing from 2012 that was cool was the before that game.
Yeah. No, 2012 was quite the year.
Yeah. We were talking with Nava about it. We were talking like
that was so funny.
Like, we brought up 2012 and he was just like, you could tell too because he's kind of leaning back. I wish he wasn't like in the promos, I think they look fine, and like I normally cook those up, and I'm always worried about how I think I get too paranoid about how shit looks because people are always like, "No, it looks good," but you could tell once we started talking about 2012 that he just didn't want to talk about it.
Oh yeah,
he was going on and on.
About it.
Yeah, he was talking about it, and then he just started hitting him. It's like the bad memories that just came back to the front. He's like, God, that was so bad.
He talked about it for probably a max amount of time of 5 minutes, and then he's like, hey, but 2013.
Yeah, we got it. He's like, we got to transition because especially think about the drastic difference between 2012 and 13. It was so like, I think in 2012 as a year in general, and I'm like, I have an awful feeling. Granted, it's a little different because I graduated in 2012, and like senior year of college and senior year of high school were just two of the best years of my life. So it just sucks that senior year of college, we're going to Fenway like this team blows. Like they were so bad. It was easy to go to games. So like I sat all over the park because it was like they were handing out tickets. And then the next year you have just such a magical season. 2013 was incredible.
Oh, that's, dude.
So I mean 2012 for me. You can go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, 2013. That was gonna go back to what we were talking about when you like fell in love with baseball and stuff. Like 2013. That was kind of the year, man, that I was just like this shit is fucking awesome. I love this. It was, especially that big Poppy Grand Slam in the playoffs, man. That was just. I remember sitting on my couch with my dad watching that. You were there? Yeah, that's right.
Of course, I was there.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Fucking asshole. Yeah. Anyway, no, I was on the couch with my dad, and it was just like you watched that, man. It was just magic, absolute magic. I fucking loved it, dude.
One thing that I will never regret in my existence, and I don't know if you guys are the same. Hopefully, you are. Is watching games with my parents at home because like those are some of the best. Like, and I was at that Poppy game, dude. That I had to convince my boy to go because they had lost game one. Annabelle Sanchez was dealing in game one.
Oh my God, he was disgusting.
He was filthy, and he almost had a no-no. He was cooking, and so Scherzer has a no-hitter in game two. And we're sitting here like, dude, this sucks. We're gonna lose to the Tigers. Like, it's not just the game, but the series. Like, this is brutal. And then Poppy comes up, and you're like, I remember we just got in for standing room, which standing room was like $130 or something. Standing room was not cheap, and so and I'm at that point where this is like right after I'm like using graduation money. I'm like, let's do it. And so we're in standing room behind the plate, and which is a little tricky because you kind of have to duck down to see under the top of the grandstand. And Poppy comes up. I'm like, dude, if he goes. But then I'm like, no, it's too obvious. It's like it makes. Yeah, it was like, here comes David Ortiz in a home run with Tyatt. It's like that made too much sense.
It seemed like it was too scripted. Like when you look back on it, it's like he was the one person like on the entire team who would have done that. It was
on like the whole planet. And so it's like we have the one guy on Earth that fits perfectly here, and he's coming up against Joaquin Benoit. And Benoit, by the way, he was good. He was filthy. And yet that pitch, dude, he wants that pitch back. Like it was it wasn't middle, but he left it too over the plate. And he didn't get it inside enough. No. And Poppy just turned on that. The best part about it though is that we didn't know you couldn't even see the ball because it basically, even though it was low, like we were trying to look and trying to find it. And so all we saw was just ball going over Torrey Hunter's glove and the place just went. Like I have never seen Fenway I get tingles thinking about it. I have never seen Fenway
the cop,
that loud.
Dude, the cop, the best part with the cop.
Oh, the bullpen cop. We've been trying to get him on
Love
too.
That, dude.
I thought that would be awesome.
He's evasive, but that atmosphere was insane. But no, back to my original point. Like I remember in 2004, I was my older brother. I'm a way bigger sports fan than him, but he's gone to some of the biggest games. He went to a couple of Poppy walk-offs in 2004, and he saw the Celtics win the championship in 2008, saw the Red Sox win the World Series 2 years ago. I'm like, dude, you gotta pump the brakes. But watching those games with my dad at home was, and you guys are obviously like, how old are you guys? Like 19?
He's 19. I'm 18.
All right, so
I'm 18.
You're 18.
Those moments were nuts. Like 2004 was like. I can't even, because I was 14 at the time, which as like when you're like 14, 15, 16, like, and you guys know, sports are literally all I cared about. And the Red Sox were all like it was my entire life was the Boston Red, and it actually kind of still is, but it meant literally everything. And so the 2004 games, trying to grind those out and watching at home was the best. So I guess this story is too long, but like those are some of the best moments just watching with the parents.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
in 18, like my dad and I are pretty big fans, but like my brother's a fan, but he's not a very big fan. So like in the 18 playoffs, since the games would be going until like 1 a.m, it would always be my dad and I watching the games. And I mean, that was awesome because like we're both two. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
And when Nunez went yard on Alex Wood, like I fell over on the couch and I was going crazy, like I'm screaming at like 1 a.m. It was awesome.
That
like
game, game 3?
Yeah.
That was it was such a weird feeling. I had so many weird feelings during that postseason because, and this is gonna sound selfish, I don't really even care. I could sense the longer it had gone on with the World Series and whatnot, like we had tried to plan the whole duck boat thing. And I was like, I could already start sensing. I'm like, I'm not going to be on one of these, aren't I? Because I knew it was going to be a Barstool thing. So like I knew that they were going to get 2 spots from like a sponsor. And in the back of my head, I'm like, it has to be Coley and Jared because they work for Barstool. Like Dave would not have allowed a Bleacher Report employee to take a Barstool spot. There's no way he would have been down for that. So I was like crunching the numbers and I'm like, oh, damn. But I'm also pumped because they're winning the World Series.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it was this weird in between. But game 3, I don't know about you guys, but even as that game's going along, I'm like, just lose or win or whatever. Like
Did you stay up for the whole game?
Stayed up for the whole game, but it's like,
yeah, me too.
I'll stay up for a game until 3, in the middle of May. But I just knew they were going to win the World Series. After game 2, I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to win the World Series. Like, the Dodgers were not going to win 4 out of 5 against that Red Sox team.
Oh,
that
yeah.
just wasn't going to happen. So that's why I didn't really feel nervous at all. People are like, oh, my God, this is so – I'm like, you know what was nerve-wracking? 2004 when you're down, 3-1 and it's 1 a.m. and, the Red Sox have almost lost about 8 different times to the Yankees trying to make the biggest comeback of all time. That's when you get nervous. But I didn't, up 2-0 against the Dodgers. That team didn't really even scare me that much, considering how good the Red Sox were.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean, when Kinsler botched the grounder,
my God,
I threw my phone against the wall and I put a huge dent in my wall. I was so pissed off.
Chuck the phone?
Yeah, I was on FaceTime with my sister on the phone because she didn't have the game. I just threw it. I was pissed off, and it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, that's all you needed to do. It was a simple routine grounder, and he botched it so bad.
Dude,
it was so bad.
I was so excited because I like stood up because you're on the couch at that point. It's kind of fading. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it.
Finally.
This is it. Ah! It's completely, Puig, by the way. Puig, I've never been a huge Puig guy. And Jared always gets on me when I'm not a huge fan of the guys that are just go way over the top, like Marcus Stroman, that loser. He's like, no, he's a good guy. I know him. Whatever, you know him. I don't care. But no, he overthrows first. And Puig is like doing this. Puig, you didn't do nothing, dude. He had
one hit in 2018, and it was the home run against Erod. That was it. That was
he hits a grounder to Kinsler, and he's on first base like
it's just Aaron. He's like, yeah.
Like, dude, you didn't do that. Throw was garbage. You didn't do
putting
shit.
the team on his back. He's like, oh yeah, I got you boys.
Like, yeah, I got this. Like, no, you don't. You don't have shit. But that game was nuts.
I thought the Sox were going to sign Puig this winter. I was talking to my dad about that. And I was like, oh, it's kind of a possibility.
Is he still out there?
I think he's still out there.
Yeah.
Surprising.
That's
he's
odd.
like, I mean, he's a little bit
not
of
old,
like,
but he's not old by any means. Isn't he like
too much.
I'm 29. Isn't he like my age? He's not old. How old do you think Yasiel Puig is?
28. That's my guess.
I'd say
he's got to be around there. He's got to be around there. He's around 30.
You know Nick Markakis is like 38.
Oh yeah, no, Markakis has been around. I always wanted. He's 29.
29.
Puig, yeah. So yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, this dude's still in his 20s and somebody that is always staying in shape. Even though recently I saw some like TikToks of him, like, okay, he's put some LBs on. He's definitely added some, which everybody should. Like, I'm stunned. I've stayed the same weight somehow the whole quarantine. I've just been shoving cheeseburgers in my face. I don't know how. I don't know. It's as is. Like, I got to cut some LBs, and then it's
I'm fucking losing weight in quarantine. I don't know what's going on.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Yeah, I don't know. Quarantine has us all messed up.
I was listening to KFC radio because I've like started getting into that a little bit. It's not like my number one, but KFC's lost like 20 pounds. Like, I don't know how you do that. Like, I can barely leave the house. Like, that's ridiculous.
We're just getting delivery. We're getting delivery like every day. I think Kevin's awesome. I know we had we obviously used to have Feidelberg on the podcast, and it just wasn't. I think the reason it wasn't the best fit is because Feidelberg is so built for KFC radio. Like, he's so built for that show and kind of the off the wall stuff and the random stuff. And he is a big Red Sox guy, but I think he realized once he was doing the show, it's like, oh, okay, this is Jared and Steve's show. So I can't really.
There's a lot more of a structure to your show than KFC. KFC's like 2 hours of conversation. Like, you guys have points you're trying to get to. Like, they're just talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, we have like segments, and it's Fights isn't really segment oriented, really, with anything he does. Like, everything he does, he just kind of does, and it's just like no rhyme or reason. He's a great dude, but yeah, I could tell the longer it went on, that he was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna stick with KFC radio, which is totally fine. And he's the kind of guy, he'd be the first to tell you that he wants to avoid awkward confrontation or really confrontation at all. Yeah. And so I think all of a sudden it was just like, oh, Coley's on the show. It's like now Coley's the third guy. Yeah. So
I think Coley's a great fit on that show. I think like he's the kind of guy you can just pass something to, which was Bryn on the last episode, which I thought was awesome. She needs to get into the intro.
No, she absolutely does. Bryn's the best. But yeah, Coley has been a really good fit because he doesn't need the ball. Like, I feel like if we have, like with Feidelberg, he kind of needs the ball. I'm doing stupid basketball references here, but like guys that just need to get their points up.
It's like Westbrook and Harden on the same team when you have fights with Jared. It's like they're two guys who want the ball. You know?
I don't want the ball. Like at times I'll want the ball, but I'm more trying to distribute too. So it's like you need, I don't know, you need the right fit. I think we have the right fit right now. But the thing that's missing is the baseball. That part was fun.
That is a good part. So
I miss it so much.
This is a question my brother's in New Zealand right now. He would probably be in this call, but he cannot. He wants to know if there's a movie made about the 2012 Red Sox. Who do you cast to play Bobby Valentine?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't want to rush this one. Let me think. Bobby is I actually really want him on the podcast. Like, I really want.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't that be nuts?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
You could just razz him for 45 minutes.
But even if we're just like shooting the shit with him, I feel like that would be awesome because he's such a weirdo. He's just he's wired so different. Now that I think about it, I'm really gonna try to do that.
He's so deeply hated by like so many people in Boston.
But that would be listen. Like, everyone would listen to that.
Oh my God, I would listen to that. I would listen to that the second it dropped. I don't care when.
I listened to that twice.
Yeah, let me think. I want to get this one right. Bobby Valentine. You need someone that's a little off the walls, a little loopy.
I was thinking if you put like 60 pounds on George Clooney and kick the shit out of him, he could look like Bobby Valentine.
You'd really need to beat up George Clooney. I mean, we're taking one of the best looking actors ever. Let me think. No, what's his face? Just from an age standpoint, there's a guy I'm thinking of, but I can't think of. Is it Tommy Lee Jones? Is that his name?
Tommy Lee Jones is way too well liked to play Bobby.
No, but I more mean someone that can play someone that's disliked. I feel like Tommy Lee Jones could be disliked if he plays it right. He also I feel like similar oldness.
Bobby Valentine's like a Gilbert Gottfried guy. Like, he hates listening to him talk.
Yeah. And so I was thinking the other day, like, shut
the hell up.
But he does a good job of like consistently having the worst voice of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go Tommy Lee Jones, not because he's disliked, but I think he can play that role.
Yeah. He could get into character.
And they're both like equally old. Yeah. So
that would make a fantastic movie if they did that. Just like the greatest tragedy of all time.
Well, think about it with the Red Sox. Like, the thing I love about being a Sox fan is that there's so much money involved and there's so much at stake. Every season is very important, and that's not the case with a lot of teams. If you could look at half the teams in baseball, maybe more, and their fan base are like, yeah, we'll go to some games this year. We'll see what that'll be that, and I'll have some hot dogs, go on a date or two. But the Red Sox is like, this is life or death every single year. And so when you look back at 2011, 2012, 2013, what a wild 3-year stretch. Like 2011, you completely blow it in September. They were the best team in baseball all summer, and they don't even make the playoffs. That was nuts. You could do a whole movie on, game 162. And then 2012 is just the biggest disaster. You could do an entire movie on just Bobby Valentine's press conferences. God, they were awful. Every day he would say something where I'm like, shut up. Like, stop talking. He's just so bad. And then 2013 is its own thing as well. So that's the funny part about like 2014 to 17 is not a lot. Like, they were good.
They didn't have any bad. They didn't have bad years. Like they were.
They did. 2014-15. They weren't good. They weren't good. They were
bad,
actually. They were for other teams. They'd be considered like okay seasons, but like
it was a transitional.
It was a transitional time. Mookie Bet, the birth of bets. And so once you get to 2016 and 2017, those were insanely important years, even though they weren't overly memorable. The memorable part about 2016 is Poppy's last year, but those just kind of, I guess, set the table for, all right, guys, we can't get knocked out in the ALDS again. This is ridiculous. We keep winning the division. We got to get further than this. And naturally, they end up having the best team in franchise history, at least by wins.
Yeah. I think 2017 was vital for the team's success in 2018 because it kind of 2017 without that, like that was kind of when Benintendi came into form, ready for 2018.
Benintendi
I think it was just important. Oh yeah, dude.
I don't know what happened with Benny Butt
favorite player, man.
I thought it was
it
was the girlfriend. My theory is that it was the girlfriend. Was
absolutely
single Benny's back.
That was my theory too. That's why I cut the flow. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think the girl was like, no, I like it when it's long, and so he kept the long hair, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that. No, I won't even comment on it. But I think it was the girlfriend.
Gotta be.
I think that's why. But yeah,
she's gone now though.
What's up?
I'm pretty sure she's gone now though.
Yeah, she's out of the picture. She is out of the picture.
She's been gone.
She been gone. We got that. Who confirmed that for us? Was it JD? One of the guys was like, yeah, she's gone. But no, that was last year, dude, was just so weird. Like it was just depressing. I feel like Jared looks back on and says there wasn't anything positive about it. There was, if you remember, I think it was the end of July. They had a series against the Yankees. It was a 4-gamer at Fenway.
I was
and they win like 19-3 the first
19-3. Yeah, that was amazing.
I was like, so anyone that says there were a couple moments last year.
It had its moments. I mean, I think it was a big developmental season. I mean, you had Devers
became a superstar.
Bogarts. Yeah. I thought Darwinson Hernandez. I thought he had a fantastic. Like, I'm a big Darwinson guy. He can't throw strikes.
He throws seeds. Yeah, his control's terrible. Facing Darwinson Hernandez has to be the scariest thing on the planet. The guy, his motion too is so like flinging it in there. Yeah. I'd be like, I don't want to do this. I'm all set.
There was an interview I saw with him, and he's like, yeah, sometimes I don't even know where the ball's going. I'm just throwing it.
Yeah, like, that's scary.
Guy, like,
I don't want a guy that's cooking an easy 97, 98 to not know where the ball's going. Like that is not good. But no, I mean there were moments. Yeah, Devers became really like a top 10 player, and I'm saying more like top 7. Like Devers is like
snubbed in the All-Star game.
Oh, big time. He is a top tier player now. Same with Bogarts. You could make the argument those are both top 10 guys in the majors. So that's huge. But yeah, I mean that game was awesome because you win 19-3, which is just so like you're just pounding the Yankees. And then you win the next 2 games. I remember that you win Friday, then we had a live show Saturday at Lansdowne Pub, and that place was packed. It was awesome. The vibe was great, perfect weather. Went to the game afterwards. 4:00 start, a little too hot actually, but they end up winning that. And it's like they might sweep the Yankees and only be, I think it would have been like 6 games back or something like 5.5 back. And so we're starting to think about the division again. We're like the AL East might be in the within reach. And at that point they had a playoff spot. At that point they would have been in the wild card game. So then they lose 8 in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, damn it. So we're not making the playoffs. All right. That's cool.
I was at I went to Yankee Stadium for the first time when they played the I think it was a Sunday doubleheader. Yeah. They played at Yankee Stadium. And they got so badly beaten, and Sale was pitching, and he was so bad, just so
awful.
Bad.
He
that
got
like
screwed,
when I saw that, I was like, season's over. Season's over.
I think that was around like the beginning of August, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He kind of got screwed because I think he got squeezed on a call that was like a blatant strike, and would have been the end of the inning, only giving up a run. And then I think he gave up 7 more runs that inning.
Yeah.
I remember he got taken out. He was like, fuck you. Like, he was like cursing out
he got
the ump.
tossed.
Yeah,
he got tossed,
yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
Cora got tossed.
By the way, and we talked about this on the podcast, it is so irrelevant and useless to throw a pitcher out of a game that's getting pulled from the game. So
he's already out. He can't come
Cora's
back
going
in.
out there, takes Sale out of the game. He's walking off the mound. He curses him out, and he throws him out of the game. Yeah, no shit. I'm already out of the game. Well, you're throwing me out of a game I'm already out of. That's such a loser. Like, umps, there's some umps that just suck, and that just always need to be me. You're throwing a guy out of a game that's getting taken out of the game already. Like,
what, he can't come back in?
What, do I have to go to the? Do I have to go to the showers quicker? Like, do I have to like run now? Like, what the hell is this? I thought that was so stupid. But yeah, to your point, that was kind of it. I think I remember watching that game with my buddies here, and I was like, that's it ain't happening. And it sucks because you were coming off of a nice little stretch there, winning 3 out of 4 against the Yankees, and then you get swept in New York.
Like the whole season, it felt like the Virginia UMBC game. It's like the whole time you're like, they're going to kick it into gear. Like, they're going to kick it into gear.
I hated that Virginia team so much because I had them winning it all like a couple years in a row. And I watched so many Virginia games too because I'm a big BC guy. I watch a lot of ACC. And I was like, this team needs to win a championship. They're built for it. They got guys that have been there, done that. And you lose by 20. You lose by 20 to some golden retrievers. Like,
smoked.
Absolutely ridiculous, but whatever. I don't know how I got from the tangent on that. I lost so much money on that game. That was bad. Oh, well.
But it was like the entirety of 2019. You're like, they're gonna kick it into gear. They're gonna we all knew that they were better than that. And like the whole year, they're like, yeah, it's definitely gonna happen. Like, we don't have to worry about it. And then I didn't really realize until August that like, what the hell am I thinking? Like, there's no way that they're gonna come back and like actually make an effort for the East.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. Yeah, I mean, but you had a stretch there. You had a brief stretch, and then outside of that, it was just it was just a disappointing year. And the guys know it too. That's the thing. Like, when we have guys on from the team, like, we try not to bring it up that much because I can be like, so 2018 really good, 2019 really bad. What are your thoughts? Because that's basically what all the reporters do. Like, we're trying to not do that kind of stuff. So they all know it wasn't the same vibe and they didn't have the same click, and things changed. Like, everything was so like I always just try to remember the good times. 2018 was so much fun. It was so much fun. That
so many just memorable moments too.
Just destroyed everybody. I can't remember a team that was that dominant from start to finish in any sport, considering because it would have been the Patriots, but they lost that Super Bowl. Like, winning. Yeah, I still can't believe that game, but winning, it was the worst. But no, winning all of those games in the regular season, then really not having any issues in the postseason. The only time that we were ever concerned was Game 3 heading back to New York, because then it's like, damn, we're in the Bronx now. That place is going to be, because after they got Game 2, all those like, Yankee, all those losers were going to be out and about, and they win 16-1.
Yeah, BCB, big game.
You got Brock Holt hitting for the cycle. Like, what?
That was the ultimate, just kicking them while they were down. It's just like, let me get a little poke while I'm at it.
I remember bringing that up and being like, dude, like, you hit for the cycle, like, in Yankee Stadium in the playoffs. She's like, I know. Like, I was nuts.
One thing I hate is I know they were losing a 16-1. I think it was 15-1 at the time. But there were so little people there. Like, you paid so much money to see.
Yankee fans aren't going to stick around for that. Why would they stick? Come on, you're not going to stick around for that.
I would stick around for that.
No, I would too. Here's the deal. I would too. But if I'm a Yankee fan and we're about to go down 2-1, we're about to be on the brink of elimination, and Brock Holt's about to hit for the cycle, I'm getting out of there.
But still, Yankee Stadium, those tickets are so expensive.
Oh, very expensive.
I can't imagine how much those playoff tickets are. And I mean, my tickets when I went were like $110 on the fourth level. Like, it's more a Yankee fan. Oh, we ain't sticking away. This is ridiculous. I mean, when I grew up, Jeter's teams would never do that. So it's more that like bravado that like, oh, I'm not going to support this. And so I think a bunch of that times about 50,000, and then they left. But good for the Sox fans. Good for the Sox fans that got to move down.
That was
Yeah, especially after that whole fucking "we want Boston" shit.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
it's like that.
it's like
Set it
you
off.
it's like you don't.
No, you don't.
You
They're
don't
not
want any
sticking
of
around.
this.
They're not
You
sticking
don't want
around.
any of this. It is funny when I look back because obviously a huge year for Jared, with the access and everything, and then
And hair.
that in turn helps me. But it always stuns me when I look back. I'm like, that's right. He didn't have hair. He didn't have the flow, and that
No
was only
hair.
2 years ago. It's not like
I
it
know.
feels like it was 5 years ago. But I look back at all these videos. I'm like that we did, and I'm like, damn, that's so like I feel like I look the same. I got the same damn hat. It's like nothing changed. But yeah, the hair thing. I was stunned that he didn't grow that hair out.
I was watching that video from when he was 18. When he
Hilarious.
that is
Hilarious.
the greatest. He weighs probably 140 pounds soaking wet in that
all
video.
of 10 pounds. I got this sock shirt over here. I got some other
heaviest
stuff over
Saugus
there.
accent.
I got this over here, and then I got that over there. And I'm like, what is this? But
Shut the hell up.
here's the deal though. I used to tweet stuff like that when I was upset at him. I would tweet old videos of when he was scrawny and had an accent, and he hated that. So if anything, maybe he's grown a little as an individual, that he's okay to then post it himself, because it does take a little bit of the edge off if you're posting it yourself. It's like, all right, I'm laughing at myself. So I don't fully blame him for that.
All right. I got a kind of obscure question for you, but I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching a video about it. If you could build an entire team, rotation, bullpen, and all, out of one non-utility player, who would it be?
If I could build a whole team, wait, what?
If you could build a whole team, like with rotation and the bullpen, but every single play, it's just one player.
Oh, it's all the same guy?
That's all the same guy.
um,
Who would the guy be?
Are we just talking rotation, bullpen? We're not talking offense?
Oh, no, we're talking offense.
Oh, every single position of the team.
Yeah. Front office, too.
It might be Bobby Dahlbeck, just because he pitches.
That's solid. Yeah, that's a.
So he actually was a good pitcher in college, and he's young. So you'd have the young factor, you'd have top prospect factor, you'd have a guy that can bop, you'd have a guy that can throw. So Dahlbeck is actually probably my pick there because he's very versatile and he has the age in his favor.
But he also hasn't played a single game in the.
No, I know, but he's got bop. He's got bop. He's a dear friend of mine, so I'm really just kind of leaning towards that. But no, I think Dahlbeck is a leader in the clubhouse because you got to factor in. It doesn't matter if you have Xander Bogaerts if he's also pitching.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it doesn't.
tough.
I need a guy that can hit and pitch, and Dahlbeck might be the only one that can. I guess Moreland.
Mitch Moreland.
Dahlbeck's 10 years younger than Mitch Moreland.
Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah, I mean the list is short. Let's put it that way. And yeah, I'm sticking Dahlbeck. I feel good about that. He's the third prospect of the team.
That's a respectable choice.
He can pitch, he can hit, and he's young. So yeah, that checks enough boxes. I feel like he's like a chill dude too. Like he's not somebody that if you multiplied by like 25, you'd be really annoyed. So you have a chill roster.
He's gonna have 25 guys in one driveway, all of them tanning and playing the guitar.
I know. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, dude, you already are gonna have chicks going for you. Like now that you're saying you're tanning and playing the guitar in the driveway, like I mean, you're just upping your odds, man. You're just upping your odds.
He's a dude. I mean, I've seen him at Pawtucket, which is gonna be really sad when they leave. And I mean, he's a dude. Zue Lin is better than he's more of a god in Pawtucket than Rusney Castillo, and that's just a fact. Because I hate Rusney so much. I hate Rusney Castillo in his weird ass ear so much.
He has the funkiest ear you're ever gonna see.
Grimy ear.
It is bizarre.
What's your favorite ad read?
Favorite ad read? Let me think. It's a good one. Probably Goslings, because they're my favorite sponsor we've ever had. Because they send us a ton of stuff, and like we had a meeting with them a month ago, and they're just real people. Like they're really down to earth people. And they have this part of the ad read where they talk about like the birth of Dark and Stormy. And so now I've just started reading it like an old Dark and Stormy. and so I don't know when I started doing that a couple of weeks ago, but I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do this every time. So, yeah, I do I used to do a lot of improv in high school. So I do like when I can throw some voices in there. See, I'll go with Gosling's over Ronald's napkins.
Ronald's napkins is great. I'm a big Manscaped when Coley would
Coley
do it.
nails the Manscaped. I don't like doing the Manscaped one because I'm not nearly as good at it as Coley is.
Yeah, he's so good, and I liked when Bryn did the Dark and Stormy.
Dude, that was so. I'm so upset about that because like Bryn she's a part of the show, and like yes, she doesn't like talk that much, but like she's a part of our thing now, and
it's undeniable.
And Stephen Shea, who kind of is in charge of like distributing all the, like he has, I think, his fantasy football or whatever podcast he has now with Barstool, but he's basically in charge of sales and making sure that we get all the ad reads in and all that stuff and making sure that we fulfill our agreements with these companies. And he found out that Bryn did an ad read and was like, Bryn can't be doing an ad read. I'm like, why can't Bryn be doing
She's part of the show.
She's part of the show. He was like, it has to be one of the main hosts. And I'm like, all right, man. And I enjoy doing the read, but it's like, I want to give Bryn some ad reads. So whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy about that.
If she's in the intro, it's gonna be undeniable that she's a part of it.
I know. I'll be like, she's in the damn intro, dude. You can't deny this now. That might actually be our way to make it like more official. So hopefully we do that.
So I know you're a big movie guy.
Yes.
I consider myself pretty big movie guy. What are your top 3 movies?
Top 3 goes Sandlot 1, Ocean's 11 2, and I have at 3? I think it was Good Will Hunting at 3.
Wow. Sandlot over Ocean's 11 is a very very unique choice to say.
I don't know if anyone goes movie. Oh, it's incredible. I don't know if anyone goes 1-2 Sandlot Ocean's 11. I might be the only person on the
I think the weirdest combination.
It is the weirdest combination. But here's why. It's because the Sandlot.
They're both heist movies.
Yeah, the Sandlot. Yes, that's true. The Sandlot was my favorite movie growing up, and my mom would be the first to tell you I probably watched that movie about 5,000 times. Like, oh, this again. But it still can hang. Like, it still holds up. Like, I'll watch. Little did I know, the more I grew up, I kind of forgot that there's shit is said twice in the Sandlot. There are 2 shit. Yeah. I was gonna say 2 shit bombs in the Sandlot, and that like blew my mind. That when I was 5 years old, I had heard shit in a movie. I never would have thought that.
You're like, yeah.
Like as is being 29, I still don't go like granted, my mom's a principal at an all-girls Catholic school, so she doesn't. We can't see movies that have anything with swears or anything still to this day. So in 95, she must have been so pissed I'm stunned that I don't remember some like, oh my God, turn that off. What is that demonry? So I'm kind of stunned that never happened, but no, I still watch the Sandlot. It's still incredible. It still holds up. Those kids were so good. And that is not always the case. It is way more often than not that you watch a kid movie. Like I watched Good Burger the other day. And that's a movie I grew up with. That does not hold up. Space Jam, like
does not. No.
I watched it. I
was watching the LCB commentary with when Coley Mick was doing the commentary.
Yeah. They've been really good with that.
Funny.
Yeah. That I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, the game
tough.
has been canceled because there's a spaceship on the field.
There's a spaceship on the field, and everyone's like cool with it. It's like, come on. But no, I think Sandlot still holds up for me. I got to have it at number 1. That was the poster that was up there last week. I'm trying to swap my posters out. We got The Matrix now. That's probably in the top 15. But yeah, Ocean's 11 is incredible. Also, it's very important to have rewatchability. Like, I can throw these movies on at any time and watch them. And exactly. Good Will Hunting is the same. Mm-hmm. It sucks that Robin Williams took his life. Like that, I don't look at Good Will Hunting kind of the same because he committed suicide. Which is, I don't say that negatively. I more say that like he obviously had, problems and
it's a change of perspective.
But now I look at the poster and I feel sad instead of feeling like happy. So like that part kind of sucks. But yeah, still an all-time movie. Departed's got to be in the top 10. I have Creed in my top 10.
Really?
The first one. Creed is so good. I was never a Rocky guy. I feel like I was too young for Rocky, and then Creed hit at the perfect time. I feel like I was probably 22, 23 and thought I was the shit. And so I'm like, Creed, yeah. And so I just remember seeing that movie and being like, Michael B. Jordan is so perfect for that role.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, such an insanely talented actor, but also just completely ripped when he really gets into shape like that. And oh, man, the scene they're on the bikes and they got like this, I'm like, oh, that the best scene. That is the best. I'm like ready to just like destroy somebody. I love that scene so much.
Who's your favorite director?
Scorsese, got to be Scorsese. And yeah, I mean, Wolf of Wall Street's incredible. That's gonna be the poster next week. That'll be up here.
That's a good poster. I gotta get that poster.
Oh, it's perfect. I see. I'm in a lot of like Zoom meetings for work, and so like they're like, "Oh, The Matrix." But I don't know if I can have Wolf of Wall Street with like
Dicey.
cans hanging out. But Scorsese with Departed, Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas. I mean, those are three of the best movies ever, in my opinion. So
yeah.
And then obviously, Spielberg is up there too. If you're doing Jaws, Jurassic Park, Jaws and Jurassic Park are also got to be in my top 5. I think that rounds up the top 5.
Classics.
So yeah, you can't go wrong there. But yeah, we got the Jurassic Park poster here. That's the thing, I try to collect the posters. The thing I love about the Jurassic Park poster is that I had like a replica for years that I would just hang in the background. And a listener of the show, her grandmother or grandfather rather, used to work at a theater and had saved all the posters that they had, in the theater, in the front of the theater. And he still had the Jurassic Park poster from 1993. And she shipped that to me. I'm like, this is awesome. So like this poster's from 93. I'm like, this is sick. This is like one of the actual posters that promoted Jurassic Park when people had no idea, like, what is this movie going? This is interesting. Is this going to work? Like, this is like if they knew if, this movie was going to be a huge success. So I thought that was really cool. What do you guys have for top 3?
Well, my number 1 will always stick. It's always going to be Interstellar. That's my favorite.
Interstellar's really good.
I saw that 3 times in one day.
Which is that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I don't know if I can get behind
3
that.
hours long.
What? Of all movies, you're not picking
ridiculous.
Like one that's 90 minutes. What?
Yeah, it's long.
Bizarre move, but I weirdly support it.
It's great. It's such a rewatchable movie because like when you watch it the first time, you're just like, what the hell just happened?
It's like the perfect movie to watch 3 times in one day.
Yeah. It was like a day in the summer. Like it wasn't like it was snowing out. It was like a normal day, and I just sat down and watched it 3 full times.
Yeah, that needs to be like a snow day move or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
But my number 2 jumps around. Right now, it's probably Django Unchained. I'm a big Django Unchained fan.
I see. Actually, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about this real quick. I'm not a huge Tarantino guy.
Ooh,
because really? I feel like what Tarantino, first off, one of the weirdest humans we've ever created as a Earth. But he loves being different so badly that I can't really get behind it half the time. Like I'll try watching some of his movies and I'm like, oh, really? We're doing that? Like we're scalping people? Like, and I understand like he wants to be as authentic to a certain time as possible, but there's stuff that I just can't watch, and I just can't.
Did you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, and I like that because that was actually kind of chill, and it wasn't like the only. I think the craziest was when you're flamethrowing a chick, and she talk about overacting, and I understand she's on fire, but like my God, I'm like, what is going on here? But yeah, the funny thing is, I remember they said that like Leo actually used. I thought it was just like editing, but he actually used a flamethrower. Like obviously he didn't like light the chick on fire. Like, they added that in.
She was a casualty.
Yeah, he apparently said to Tarantino like, whoa, can we like cool this down? It's really hot. And Tarantino goes, it's a fucking flamethrower. It's gonna be a little toasty. So
I mean, when I first saw Django Unchained, like I like how it's like a dark comedy a little bit, and the whole end of the movie is just like a complete bloodbath. I don't know why I think it's so funny, but it's so funny how they do it. And I love Jamie Foxx.
He's good at like dark humor. Like he has that down. So anyway, the rest of the top 3 had to talk Tarantino real quick.
That's fine. I'm always down for a Tarantino talk. And my number 3 is probably either Joker or Inception.
Joker, okay. We're getting recent ones in there. Inception's awesome.
When I first saw Joker, I sat in the movie. I was with a group of like 10 of my friends, and we sat there after the movie was over and just looked at each other and we're like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah, I did the same thing with my friends. Same thing.
It's a bizarre. Yeah, I can't really compare Joker to anything. I don't know if I even liked it. I was just like intrigued. I was like, wow, he really got into that character. Like
Oh my
that's
god,
he
I
deserved
like
best
how
actor by far.
I like how little like actors are in the movie. Like it's a very short, like very small cast, but like all the roles are like huge roles.
Well,
Like they all play a huge role.
one thing with that movie that was so unique is that he's in every scene.
Yeah.
He is in. There is not a single scene he is not in. I can't think of a movie I've seen where one person is in every scene. Because think about it, when you're trying to do character development, you need some side scenes being like, I don't know, guys, like, is this, how are we going to handle this? Yada, yada, yada. Like, he's getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
But they already know that you can decipher that he's getting crazy by how he acts. So it's like, let's just have him be in every scene. Also, and I hate this, I think they did that intentionally because they want the out of you thinking maybe that only happened in his head. Maybe the entire, and I hate that shit. Like, tell me what the movie is. Don't try to make me be like, conspiracy theory. I hate that stuff.
All I'm going to say is, do you like Inception?
Love Inception.
Inception also ends that way. That's all I'm going to say.
It is Inception, like they're almost telling you that. With Joker, it's almost this underlying, like, wait a second, is this happening? Like, it's not as in your face. Inception, it's in your face because the huge theme of the movie is what's real and what's fake.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel with Joker, it's more like, okay, this is really what his day-to-day is. And yes, like he obviously has a fake relationship with that girl, but I feel like that's more to show that part of his life is perceived a certain way by him, and then part of it is actually happening. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Whoever directed that loves being like that, and it's just the way we shot it. We wanted it to be deciphered as what the viewer was going through, and I always hate that shit. Just give me a damn movie that I can watch and know what's going on. But
I know what you mean. And then my last two, I'll pass it to someone else. But my last two are Inglourious Bastards and then The Revenant.
Okay,
So two great movies.
All great movies. Great movies.
Tyler, where do you go?
So I think you guys are a little bit more into movies than I am, but I'm a big comedy guy. I like comedy, so I get number one. My favorite movie of all time has got to be Step Brothers. Fucking
God, you loser!
Wait, what did you just cut out? What did you say?
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers is incredible.
Absolute favorite movie. Me and my buddies quote that movie like all the time, every day. Talking, we say a quote.
One of the most quotable movies by far.
Oh my God, hands down. But
what else you got?
Number two, I'm a big. I like Batman: Dark Knight. Big on that one, especially Joker's character, Heath Ledger, on that one. Oh
incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
It was incredible.
That's Christopher Nolan.
I almost can't figure out, like, decipher who was better between Heath Ledger and what's his name?
Christian Bale.
And
I think Heath Ledger's better, but I don't really think you can compare them at all. But
no, Joker.
He's so good.
Queen Phoenix. What's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix?
Oh, comparing Jokers. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
I
thought he meant Christian Bale. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Those are just, I don't know, man. Those are two very good performances. Anyway, number three, I don't know, probably 21 Jump Street. Classic movie. Love
that movie's awesome too.
That's a great movie.
That movie doesn't get enough respect. Anytime I see that, a way that I judge if a movie is really good or not is if I'm flipping through channels and it's on like an HBO or something like that. I'm like, oh, I'm finishing this. Like, I'm watching the rest of this. 21 Jump Street is one of those. It's so fun.
That's a pretty quotable movie too. There's some good quotes in that movie.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a little underappreciated though. I mean, none of my buddies know that movie. No one even can't quote it, but
it deserves more. Yeah, it deserves more respect. I don't know why
absolutely.
It should be getting more. My favorite comedy is Superbad by far. But that was more like, that was when I was a senior in high school. So you have that was like
that came out at the perfect time for you.
Oh, it was perfect. And it's like, I went with all my boys and we're like, that is the most I've ever heard a theater laugh in my life was Superbad. That was just so, like, the place was dying. And that still holds up. But yeah, comedies, I don't know. Like, I feel like when I grew up, comedies were a little different. It was, especially like when I was, high school, college, like, it used to be such a common thing to have like and coming out on Blu-ray, the X-rated, the unrated version. We've kind of gotten away from that because I feel like a lot of that stuff is like, you just don't do in movies anymore because it's you're worried about you want to get like Me Too
anymore.
Yeah, there's certain stuff that's just like kind of like, I'll watch them, even watching The Office back, and there's some episodes where I'm like, ooh, they wouldn't have said that now. That's even though that wasn't that long ago. It was like, let's say this episode was 12 years ago. I was like, yeast, that wouldn't fly in 2020. But yeah, that's what it is.
I'm a big I just watched it the other day. I'm a big fan of it. Have you seen Blazing Saddles?
I don't think I have. I've heard about it. I don't think
It's
I've seen it.
if it that's one of those. If it came out today, it would never fly. It's like intentionally very offensive. It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, there
I
are
love those
certain
type of
movies
movies.
that just don't really translate. They're still funny, but it's like it's a little rough.
I think the fact that you like it wouldn't like fly in today's world, like that's why it's so good. Like for some of those movies,
Also, like, and this is what I hate, and I love Bill Simmons, and they do the Rewatchables podcast for The Ringer, really good podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And Simmons does this thing that drives me nuts every time. And basically, it's kind of what we're saying, but he's like, "Oh, and this really didn't age well, and that didn't really." But who cares if it made sense when you made the movie? Then
that's all that matters.
Then judge it by that.
Yeah.
Don't judge it by 2020 standards for a movie that came out in 08.
Yeah, I know exactly.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. So I don't know. That always kind of drives me nuts. Just judge it based off of when it came
out. What's your walk-up song?
Walk-up song. The Motto, Drake and Lil Wayne. Absolutely. Like boom, boom. I'd just be like Crip walking to the batter's box. But no, either The Motto. It would be Drake. I mean, I'm obsessed with Drake, so it would be if we went like recent Drake. It's definitely not this Tootsie Slide nonsense.
God.
My God, it's dude. It's I was gonna say, I knew that would string a chord there, but no, it's here's the deal. All right, it's always good we have to start with here's the deal. That the song is trash, but it's obvious it's obvious what he's doing. Right, like he's playing right into the little TikTok little kids.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that
he's playing right into the little it goes. Right foot up and left foot slide. Like little Tony, little Tony. No one's ever said little Tony. Little Jimmy can do right foot up.
Tony.
We're gonna stick with little Tony. Little Tony is definitely some like San Antonio rapper.
Mass murderer.
What's up, y'all? It's little Tony. But yeah, I just know that song was built solely, and it's kind of smart. It was built solely for TikTok. That's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even hate on that. But Wait, what do you guys? We're getting off on a random street here, but thoughts on TikTok? I feel like TikTok's more for your age. I do it as a joke, but I'm too old.
I feel like TikTok has these 5 stages, and I've seen this before too. It's the first stage is like, oh, I'm not going to download that.
Yep,
I don't like fuck this. What is this? I'm not going to download this. Second stage is, all right, I'll give it a shot. I'll download it. My buddy shows me a video. It's funny.
I'll watch some videos.
Third stage is denial. Always denial. You're always like, you're watching it, and you're just like, this is so stupid. But you keep watching it. You keep watching
for hours.
Denial. Yep. And then fifth stage is you come to accept it. You're just watching. You've been binge watching the whole thing. Keep going down for hours. And then fifth stage is you're in the fucking front of the camera, doing the fucking renegade, whatever the hell. Yeah.
Dude, it's insane. I told myself I'm never gonna do the dances. I'm doing some skits, but I'm not gonna do dances. And I'm only gonna use it if something comes to mind. I'm like, oh, that would be funny. I'm just trying to be funny. I'm not because like no one needs to see me dancing.
Oh, of course
But I think that for so many people I see on there, I'm like, dude, just, like, cut it. Like, don't
stop.
You're
stop.
trying, and especially when like you got like people that I grew up with, like Terrell Owens, and some of these athletes that are in their 30s, and it's like, stop doing all this. Stop. It's like, stop. You look so dumb. But I get the appeal. I get the appeal to it. I totally get the appeal. It's a simple thing. The dances come out. You got people like what's her face is actually talented. Who's like the most popular? Who's this chick? I can't even say chick. She's like 5 years old. But
Charlie D'Amelio.
The D'Amelio dude. Charlie is good. I think they're from like the Boston area, or from Mass.
They're from Connecticut, I think.
Oh, Connecticut, close enough. They're from they're one of us. They're from New England.
Yeah. No, Connecticut's not part of New England, but
no, I was gonna say close enough. But
get out of here.
What is her sister's name?
Dixie.
Dixie.
Dixie sucks.
Yeah.
Dixie sucks. And it's like, I shouldn't even critique her. I'm probably like twice her age, but like she blows. And she's only there because of Charlie. Like Charlie can actually dance and like clearly she's done that before. But Dixie's just like
it's in front of the camera doing super shit.
Yeah, just like laughing. Tongue out. You look like an idiot.
God, I hate that stuff. I can't get behind that stuff on TikTok, but I can get behind like the whole like like old Vine stuff. I love Vine. Vine was my favorite.
If you're doing like there are Vine stars on there that are like closer to my age that are doing funny stuff. And like I think that plays. Like if you want to be like a Jason Derulo, like he's very popular on TikTok. I didn't know that dude has like 18 million followers on there. And or what it's a lot, whatever it is. And he's actually, but Jason Derulo can dance. That dude can move. So if you can dance. I have no issue with it, but don't be like don't have a big platform already because you're famous and then think, oh, I have a ton of followers, so they like me. No, you have a ton of followers because you're like a Hall of Fame wide receiver. You don't have a ton of followers because you're doing the renegade. Like, get out of my face with that. So,
I got it. I originally got it in like late summer 2018 when it was like first like building up, but that was when people were going onto it to like make fun of all like the weird people and like the firefighters who were doing the videos, and it was so funny to make fun of them. And then I started making the videos of like making fun of them and stuff. And then I kind of just like I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I don't know why I ever did that. And then I deleted it a while ago because I'm not a fan of the Chinese government. They steal your data.
No, they steal your shit, dude. It is a concerning thing because I don't look at it at all during the day. If some TikToks come in that we can use for content for Bleacher Report, always down. But I'll look at it before I go to bed. And I got to stop doing that because TikTok sucks you in and you can't get out. And it was like 2 hours later, I'm like, what am I doing? And you're down this rabbit hole of like some random girl, let's just say this girl like Chelsea McGillicuddy's, and all of a sudden like I'm scrolling down her feed and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, where am I? I don't even know how I got here. It's like 5 a.m. Like, this is so stupid. So I gotta stop doing that.
You know who runs the worst TikTok account is the Patriots. It is so bad.
I don't even follow. I follow the Celtics. Isn't that bad? The Red Sox isn't that bad either. But I haven't followed the Patriots.
It is so bad, and it's just videos of their cheerleaders. I don't know if it's changed. But when they started it, I was like, I had to block them. I'm like, I don't want to see this. Like, I like the Patriots. I don't want you to ruin my opinion on you.
Can't do it.
No, horrible.
Can't do it. TikTok's wild.
Can't confirm that.
The Cape League liked my tweet. That's good.
Cape League?
Yeah, Cape League canceled. Very sad.
Oh, they did? That means the NECBL is probably going to cancel. I mean,
definitely.
That sucks. No. I go to a couple of Cape League games, but we host they have you can like host a player.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So we host a player from Georgia, and he plays in the Ocean State Waves. And since I didn't play at all last year because I missed the whole year, we became like really good friends. And he's a big Southern drawl guy, and he's a big Braves guy too. So like whenever whenever he would come up, like we'd always be watching Braves games, and like we'd always be watching Red Sox games together. And we were supposed to go to a Red Sox Braves game this year. They had a 2-game at Fenway, and we were gonna go to that. And I'm so pissed that it pisses me off so much.
Dude, it's like this is, and I always catch myself when I'm like complaining about this because people are dying. But it's so tough because like we had so much planned for the podcast. Like the following week we were going to go down to Fort Myers, do a bunch of content. We're going to be on like Brian Johnson's boat. JD was going to join. We had so much stuff planned. It was going to be awesome. And like Garen and I were going to do content. I was then going to fly to San Francisco for the Sox A's series. We're going to do a bunch of stuff out in Oakland. We were going to go to Chicago. We're going to go to Pittsburgh. We had all these trips planned. And it's just like, I don't want to lose that Wrigley series. So here's the deal. And I probably say that too much. The Sox Cubs needs to happen way more often. What are we doing?
Two of the most storied franchises.
You play 162 games. How the hell can you not fit in at least one series between enormous fan bases? Like, it makes no sense to me. And like, I know you want to have an interleague schedule that alternates divisions. I get that. But do that and also have a series or two series that are built in for like an enormous fan, like Cubs, Red Sox, Mets. Well, Mets, Yankees is already in there. So the annoying thing is that they do build in these series, but they're series no one cares about. They do Braves, Red Sox, which I know you just mentioned it, but like They do that because of the Boston Braves. The Boston Braves were a thing like 90 million years ago. No one cares about the fact that they were the Boston Braves. Like no one's like, oh, rivalry, Braves. Like, come on.
They'll bring in like the 90-year-old fans who are like,
I know. He's like,
ah.
I remember when they used to play here. It's like no one cares, dude. So Cubs Red Sox would fucking crush. It would obviously sell out everywhere. If you did like a home and home, if you did like 3 at Fenway, 3 at Wrigley, that week would be so cool. Cubs Sox week. And you could have the S Cubs Sox. Like the S could be the start of the Sox. I'm already just thinking here, just spitballing.
You're visualizing.
I'm visualizing, but no, we went to Wrigley last summer. Was so cool because that's when I really started taking trips, for the podcast and for a road Red Sox series. And we went to Chicago for Red Sox White Sox, and that was kind of the birth of the ice horse. Remember, I wore the ice horse mask, and Eckersley. I can't believe Eckersley said it on the broadcast, but that was one of my favorite days, like ever. Not even just last year, like of my life, because we went to Wrigley for an afternoon game, and Wrigley, I love Wrigley. You go into Wrigley, you go back in time. And they've renovated a little bit. I went back in 2005 when it was really shitty, and they almost had to call the game because bricks were falling from the ceiling. But it's just old time baseball. You walk into that place, and it's a similar feeling to Fenway, where you're like, "Oh my God, I'm home! Like this is it." And so we did that in the afternoon. Cubs won the game. Fun time. Took a cab over to the White Sox park. The game was just starting. Got in there. I was like worried about getting my horse mask in, but they don't care. No one goes to those games anyway. In South Side of Chicago. But yeah, that was awesome. So I'm gonna miss that, man. Like that Chicago trip was gonna be so awesome. I think it was gonna be like next month. It was gonna be end of May, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was gonna be soon. So that is very sad. But yeah, to kind of circle back, it's like the Cape League is one of my favorite things ever. We've always been going to. We have a house in Harwich, and so we've always been going to Cape League games. And we knew that. I was talking with my dad. I was like, they have to cancel. You can't. You have kids coming in from all over the country. It just made
a ton of people go to those games too.
Yeah, it just makes no sense. There was no, and they need to, if they're going to have a season, they need the donations from the fans to finance the season. So
what's your Cape League team? Do you have a favorite team or not?
Harwich Mariners.
Right.
So we've been going to Mariners games for a long time. I like that they're still the Mariners. I don't like the teams that had to switch their name. Major League Baseball, by the way, that's one of my least favorite things that Major League Baseball ever did.
They suck for that.
The teams trying to get, so what they did, they basically came after the Cape League teams that had Major League Baseball team names. And they told them you can either keep the name, but have to sell your merch for like, I think 3 times as much as you're selling it now and give them a cut, give the MLB teams a cut, or you can change your name and do whatever you want with merch. And it's like the Cape League has been providing MLB scouts the top talent in the country for like 40 years.
And you care about the names?
And you're going to crack down on their names and try to skim off a percentage of the profits for the merch when they don't charge $1 to go to Cape League games. That is a slimy move. So I was not happy about that at all. But the Mariners were like, fuck it, we're going to keep our name. Because the Mariners, the Harwich Mariners were the Mariners before the Seattle Mariners were the Mariners. So it's like, y'all should be paying us. You took our name.
Yeah.
So I was salty about that. But we've been going to Harwich games for a while. I remember they won the championship in 2008. That was sick. 2008.
Have you ever been to the Orleans Firebirds? Have you ever been to their stadium?
I like it a lot. Yeah, we've been to all of them. The last one we went to, I think, was what was it? Why am I blanking on it? It's so far from Harwich. Wareham. The Wareham Gateman. That field sucks because it's a football field. It's one of those like converted into a baseball field things. It's like that's not baseball.
Those are the worst.
It's like going to Oakland. That doesn't count. But no, the Cape League is the best. I remember watching Jacoby Ellsbury with Falmouth, Chris Sale with YD. Like you get to see some of the best players. And I've been able to build a couple of relationships, with players that actually listen to the podcast. I'm like, oh, damn, this is weird. Now they like listen to what we do. But Cape League, that's going to be sad. No Cape League is sad.
Yeah. Well, I normally if I have like a travel series in the Cape, and I go up with my dad, like we normally catch a game or two. We went to the first one I went to was Orleans, and their stadium's so cool. It's like a little bowl, and it's like you could say it's a perfect spot.
Great summer place. Great summer night place.
And it's like I don't think a lot of people when they go, I don't think they realize how like high of a level of baseball that is. Like those guys are not like just like they're in the
majors in like 2 years. Like the best ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like there was a guy who came in who was blowing like 98, and that was like the fastest I've ever seen. Whoa,
dude! It's some of the best games I've ever seen in my life. Went to Orleans and saw a playoff game between Chatham when there was still the Chatham A's and the Orleans Cardinals before they became the Firebirds. Which like, what are we doing? And it was Andrew Miller was pitching for Chatham, and he was going up against Tony Gwynn Jr., who was like the speedster for Orleans, and he was their leadoff hitter. And the game was nuts. Game was flying by 0-0 into the ninth. And in steps Tony Gwynn Jr. He gets, I think, hit by a pitch. Andrew Miller's still in the game, and he's going for like a complete game. He was dealing. Andrew Miller threw gas. He threw the kind of gas that when you hear it at a Cape League game, when it hits the mitt, it hits the mitt. I'm like, this guy's throwing seeds. And so that game was incredible. Tony Gwynn Jr. gets on first base. He was one of the first guys to get on base all night, and he steals second. He gets to third on a wild pitch, and he tagged up. I will never forget this because we were kind of sitting – the street is like right by the third baseline. Like the street is like right there. And there's like this little ledge you can stand on behind the fence, and it's just a perfect view of the field right below you, kind of like to your point, like a bowl. And I remember the guy comes up. It's a pop-up that doesn't get out of the infield. Those are the edge of the first base dirt. And I'm like, is he going to tag up? So Tony Gwynn's kid is on third. I'm like, I'm looking at the ball, looking at him. I'm like, he's tagging up. And I've never seen that in my life. And he tags up from third on a ball at the edge of the first base dirt. And he one of the best slides I've ever seen. He was safe, and the place just went nuts. I was like,
my God.
It was one of the coolest walk-offs ever. And Miller's on the mound like, how the hell did we just lose on a sac fly to first? It was incredible. Nuts. Absolutely incredible. But, yeah, the place went nuts. That place packs a lot of fans, by the way, because they have the hill on the first base side. Mm-hmm. So that was probably my favorite Cape League moment I've ever seen. That was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Cape League is just it's
so
awesome.
Pure.
I mean,
it's pure baseball. It's great.
And it's like it hasn't changed, you know?
It's
like
the same.
It's still,
Wooden
it's still
bats,
old
it's
baseball.
The same. You still go on the Cape, and it's like the Cape is still kind of behind years-wise in a good way. Like it's still traditional. And so when you go to a game, it's like this is baseball. Like that's pure baseball.
Yeah. What's your favorite non-Red Sox team?
I don't really have one. I guess by default it's the Mariners because I love Griffey so much growing up. Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have one. I don't really care. Like I always want the Mets to do well because I want to have a rerun of Mets Red Sox World Series. And I have a lot of friends that are Mets fans, and it's like I'm fine. Like everyone's like, "What about '86?" Like I wasn't alive. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't. Oh yeah, '86. I was like -4. I don't care about that. But yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I guess the Mariners. But it's so weird that they're the longest drought for a professional sports team with the playoffs. They haven't made it since 2001. So.
It's so weird how every single year they start off so well, and every single year they they fall off so bad. Like
that's
last
why
year,
I don't think of them as trash. That's the thing. It's like of all the professional sports teams, they have the longest playoff drought. It's that they're just so. If you're a Mariners fan, that has to suck because they're just so mediocre. They're so
they've had really good teams.
Yeah, and then those teams end up. Yeah, and then they end up 3 games out of a wild card spot or like 2 games. It's like ugh. And they're really their best. Some of their best seasons since 2001, the records still aren't that great. They're only like a handful over 500. So they haven't had any real stellar seasons since the 116 wins or whatever it was.
Way back.
But yeah. Way back.
When they played the Red Sox, 2019, they were real. Like they looked good. Like they
started hot.
Them. Yeah. Spanked them left and right. Absolutely killed them.
For sure.
Which was, I mean, that was, I don't want to talk about 2019. That was stuff. What's your, do you have a favorite, like, regular season game, like, one that sticks out to you?
Regular season game. Let me think. All these playoff games are coming to mind. Regular season. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was my birthday, 2017, 3 years ago. Red Sox Yankees in New York. My parents came down to celebrate the B-Day. We went to the Statue of Liberty that day. It was a fun time. Just did a bunch of cool family stuff. And we went to Sox-Yankees Sunday Night Baseball. And it was Rafael Devers' kind of coming out party. He hits – the Sox are down 2 in the 9th inning. Chapman comes in, that slime ball. And he throws a 103-mile-an-hour fastball. And Devers is like –
I remember that.
Yeah, I'm hitting this thing out. And he just goes – he goes oppo, hits a 3-run bomb. And the Sox end up winning, and I went nuts. I tried so hard not to swear because, like, I've never sworn around my mom ever, and I was just like, I'm just like making noises. But no, it was awesome because like my dad is the ultimate like, all right, Steven, we got to, almost the last out. We got to get near the exit. We got to beat. He is the ultimate beat the traffic guy.
Beat the traffic, yeah.
He loves beating the traffic. I think he cares more about beating the traffic than going to the game.
He gets a rush out of beating traffic.
Yeah, he's like, we beat the traffic. So he cares so much about that. But so we're like kind of standing at the end of the row, end of the aisle, and like kind of watching, and then it's like bang, and it was the loudest it made because obviously 103 coming off the bat is going to make a sound.
It's loud.
And it goes out, and I was Sox fans. We're all just high five. I'm just high fiving random people. I'm like, this is insane. Yeah. And that was probably my favorite regular season game. At least it's in the running because it's hard to get that excitement. In the regular season in terms of that playoff excitement, it's hard to get that. But that felt like a playoff game the way it ended. That was cool.
Yeah. Whenever like I have a lot of my friends are Yankees fans, or whenever they talk about how good Chapman is, I'm like, yeah, but he fired a gun at his ex-wife.
Yeah.
So.
He's a dick of a person.
The Yankees are full of people just bad people.
I never
like
really
you don't have
feel,
that in the Red Sox.
No, I never really feel the Red Sox are a really nice person team. I never really feel that bad as a fan when Chapman comes in. I'm like, I think we can get him. Like I don't when he comes in, I don't feel like, oh, we're screwed. Like I always kind of think they can get him, and they have shown multiple times. I remember he walked in Benny, a game I went to with Jared. He walked in Benny with the bases loaded, or walked Benny to walk in the game winning run. I'm like, this guy's rattled. When he's out there, it could be a September game and it's, 40 degrees and he's sweating bullets. He is always sweating bullets. I don't know what it is. No pun intended.
Is he from Cuba? Isn't he or the DR?
How
is he hot?
I was going to say, you should be sweating when it's like 120 if you're from Cuba, but not when it's 40. So yeah, I don't really understand that, but I don't really feel bad when they face him. I feel like they can get to him.
Yeah, I feel like here's the thing with Chapman. I feel like he comes out in the ninth inning, say, going for a save. He's pumped. He's ready to go. He's pumping over 100 or upper 90s at least. And you get that one little base knock and like that's it. Like you have his number. It's
normally like boom, 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 you're dead, or like if you get to him early in the inning, if you first guy walks or something like that, or he plunks a guy, it's like, okay, I think we're gonna not only just score, we're gonna win. Like if the Yankees have a 2-run lead, it's like, nah, this game's over. Like we're gonna win this.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen all the time, but when he gets rattled, he gets rattled. Like he doesn't really show it. Maybe he does show it by sweating so much, but. But still, there are a lot of times I see him and I'm like, oh, when they do the close-ups, I'm like, he's rattled right now. Like he's going to give up.
He's soaking wet.
Yeah, he's drenched.
One of the someone was comparing like how he gets rattled and like comparing that to Kimbrel, like how Kimbrel kind of got easily razzed. But, like I think with Kimbrel, it was all part of like the package. Like you knew, like when he was going out there, you knew he was going to get a save, but you didn't know how the hell he was going to do it. Like somehow.
2018,
like
dude, that playoff run was tough.
Like I think the Astros.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was tough. Like with Benny, like if Benny did not make that catch, like
Benny doesn't make that catch.
Another game.
The wind is not blowing out at Yankee Stadium. Gary Sanchez probably should have gone deep on him, but yeah, it was Sanchez. What a fatso. But yeah, it was Kimbrel. That kind of sucks, though. I don't like how people look like it. Kimbrel got a bad rap on the way out because he was nails. Kimbrel was an absolute stud as the Red Sox closer for 4 years. And everyone just remembers the 2018 postseason when he was like I don't even want to say so unreliable because he didn't blow any saves, but like he made them so
dicey. He was really
made them so dicey where it was like, dude, you're a Hall of Fame closer. You got to act the part. Like this is
like they have like a 3-run lead and like
you give up 2
bases loaded with like a 1 run
with like 2 runs in. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, his agent was really trying. I remember they were trying to get like $100 million or whatever they were trying to get, and he was like,
not worth $100 million. That's
like
just a fact.
Didn't blow a single save in the 20. It's like, all right, yeah, technically, but he made those games way closer than they should have been.
Who's your favorite bullpen guy right now on the Sox?
Probably Workman. I just love that he's still cooking.
I love Workman.
You got Workman on the jersey?
I'm wearing a Workman jersey right now. I was gonna show you it, but I didn't really have a good way of doing it because I'm in a swivel chair, so it's
like,
really awkward.
I'm cornered. I'll take your word for it. I'll take it. That would be a weird thing to lie about. It's like, he lied about that Brandon Workman jersey. No, No, Workman's got to be the guy because he's still doing it, and he was doing it back in 2013.
Got away with it. 2013, yeah. I was a big Walden guy, and then he dubbed me at Winter Weekend for a picture, and I was so pissed at him because like he's a 30-year-old 5'9" rookie, and he dubbed me for a picture. I'm probably the only person at Winter Weekend who recognized the man. It's like,
Yeah,
and I go up, I'm like,
can't
have a picture, and he's like, oh, not right now. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
In those scenarios, you can't be turning down photos. You
Exactly.
gotta be just thankful that people are recognizing you.
Yeah,
I can tell, dude. It is funny at Winter Weekend. I can tell some of the players get upset that like a lot of people recognize us because they're like these scrubs. Like why are people taking pictures with these guys? Like I throw 99 miles an hour, and these guys are like Section 10 in the building. So,
having you like sign stuff too, and
yeah, they're like, this is so stupid.
I'm a professional baseball player.
These guys do a fucking podcast.
I remember back in
10 years to get to the pros.
Back in the 2018 Winter Weekend, I was with my family, and my little cousin, he's about 12 years old. He sees Sam Travis walking by, and he's nothing special, but he goes up to him, right, and there's two other kids in front of him, and they both have a ball in their hand. They're like, "Here, sign this," and he just looks at me, like brushes them off, and he just keeps walking like that.
Sam Travis is too big for it.
I don't want to put any dirt on his name or anything. You know what I mean? But like,
that's tough. It's tough. The thing that I always go back to the same thing where it's like, it's tough for these guys because I even see the effect with us. 2018 Winter Weekend, or technically the start of 2019, we couldn't go anywhere without like taking pictures or signing stuff, and we do a podcast. Imagine what it was like. Like if you were on the team, there's no way you could move. There's absolutely no way you can move. So like I do have a little sympathy for especially Foxwoods. The halls are so long, and like if you're trying to get from event A to event B, it takes hours. Like it's so that is probably one benefit to Springfield where it's like everything was pretty close to each other. But at Foxwoods, they had these guys walking for legit 10 minutes to get to the next event. And so if they signed everything, then they just wouldn't get to stuff on time. So I hear what you're saying. Totally fair. But I think some of it is that they just had to like make a time and get to the next event in time.
But I think like if you get Sam Travis, like Sam Travis is not too big to be signing.
Spring training MVP. Sam Travis is the Fort Myers most valuable player. Yeah.
Who did the Red Sox pick up that utility guy? It's not Perez, is it? No, Perez is the pitcher.
Martin Perez is gonna be the starter. Yeah.
Who's the whoever the
second baseman?
Yeah.
Peraza?
Yeah. My dad met him. He's like, oh, he's a super nice guy, but like nobody recognized him. I was like, oh, poor guy. He's like, but he was like talking to him about like what his favorite position is and stuff. He was like, he's really nice, which is great.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I think it's a big divide at Winter Weekend. Like it's the people who want to talk to people and it's people who don't.
It's tough because like we go to Winter Weekend treating it like Christmas. We're like, this is awesome. Like we love interacting with the people that listen to the podcast. And we've kind of like hijacked that event. Like it's become like the Red Sox Section 10 Winter Weekend. But
that's why they beefed up security.
I know. But it does help that we'll have, relationships with the team and the players. And Sam Kennedy's the best. I love Sam Kennedy.
He's awesome.
Genuinely one of the nicest people involved with the team. He's not a bullshitter. Like he has to talk the talk, and he has to be like the voice of like team statements and stuff like that. But Sam Kennedy's a dude. Like he is a real dude. And so it's been great to see him at these events. And I love Winter Week. I miss Foxwoods though. Foxwoods was so much better. It was a way more fun time.
I think. I mean, Springfield itself is like at least there's places to stay around Springfield. Yeah. Like. Where Foxwoods was, it's just like there's
also
nowhere around
it's
there.
Trickier for you guys. Like we the first Winter Weekend I went to, I was like 24. So like I've been able to drink this whole time. So it's like if I weren't able to drink at these Winter Weekends, it would change my opinion of the Winter Weekend. That's for sure.
Casino Steve has existed for all of the.
Oh yeah, Casino Steve was drunk. You see that? I put on that shirt. I was like,
Casino Steve.
I was like, Casino Steve. I remember we were with Catherine Baratek. Catherine Baratek is a fun time. She is rowdy, and she was, we're doing like shots and it was just And then Jared pulls his phone out. I'm like, all right. He's like, do something. I'm like, casino. I don't know what that shit was. I was like, as long as I watched it back the next day, I'm like, all right, I didn't see him too drunk. That's good. 'Cause you don't want to. That's the tough part is when you're posting stuff. I've posted some stuff on the IG story at Winter Weekend where I'm like, I wake up, insta delete it so fast. I'm like,
damn it.
this is way. I can't be putting this on a public feed. It's a bad idea. But Winter Weekend's the best. I hope it gets better next year because last year was tough. Granted, think about it. The timing was brutal. You know, Cora had just gotten fired. So.
Oh yeah. And the investigation was still going on too.
The investigation had just gotten like kicked off. Tough time. And you could tell with some of the players, they were like, we are fulfilling our obligation to be here, but we're getting out of here the second we don't have to be here. And I would have done the same exact thing. You don't want the mic in your face after all that shit.
Yeah. Poor Chaim Bloom, like everyone was asking him, like, who the hell is going to be the manager? He just got the spot.
What do you want to do? I literally just got here. I don't know.
Like, the thing happened like 2 days ago, and they're like, who the hell's the manager?
Can I breathe for 2 seconds, please?
And like, I remember the whole winter weekend, every single person in the entire building thought Jason Varitek was going to get hired. Every person. And I wish he did.
Getting followed around. I was asking Catherine about that. I was like, how was like so? Just without even saying, I was like, so how's it been? How's this weekend been? She's like, it's been rough. It's literally everywhere they go, and then she gets pestered with the questions too. So
yeah. Is he? I saw the tweet the other day. Is that in the works? Tech coming on the pod.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's been in the works for a while, but we don't. Here's the deal: we don't want to do it. We don't want to half-ass it. Let's put it that way. We want to because Catherine wants us to do it like at their house and like make it a whole thing and do like a Cribs episode almost and like kind of go through some of his like memorabilia and stuff like that. So like I would way rather do that than do a Zoom with Veritas.
Yeah, it's like that with him. It'd be like it's just going to be such a great in-person experience.
Yeah, it'd be like full access. Like I'd way rather do that than be like, what was that?
You'd get so pissed off too. You mishear one thing.
It's like him and Catherine are so different. Like Catherine would probably crush a Zoom because she's so bubbly, but like Veritek would be like, "What is this shit? Like this stuff sucks."
Sick of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler, I was saying to my brother that they should get Dan Wheeler on.
Oh yeah,
Wheeler would be awesome.
Dan Wheeler, we both went down to Florida for a series for high school, and I didn't play because I was injured. But I sat with Tyler and my friend Will, and we talked with Dan Wheeler. Dan Wheeler, like he was a pretty good pitcher, like in the prime of his career. Like he had some great moments with the Astros.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was good.
Yeah.
But the only thing we talked to him about for 3 hours was the 2011 Red Sox, and I know he was kind of like pissed. Because, like, he's like, oh, why don't you talk to me about, like, things that happened that were good in my career? Because, like, he wasn't that good in 2011. We're like, no, I want to know who the hell is Matt Albers? And I was like, I remember talking to him about Matt Albers, and I was like, how the hell is this guy still playing? But he's a really great dude. He's got some great stories.
Yeah, we could probably definitely get Wheeler on here.
Oh, yeah. I love Dan Wheeler. He's a dude.
Danny W.
But I had an argument with Dan Wheeler for probably 20 minutes on Poland Springs being the best water and how you can't replace it with Florida water. And he got so pissed at me, and he's just like, they taste the same. I'm like, no, they don't. Like Poland Springs will always be the best water. And it's like he had it.
It's the classic, one of those classic Poland Springs arguments that comes up.
I've had multiple Poland Springs arguments, and I'm not happy about it. I have them all the time.
That's pretty good. I got to roll soon, but I'm asking you guys one final question. I want to know the best game you guys have ever been to.
Tyler, you want to go first?
No, you go first.
All right. Go first. Well, it's not really fair because 2013 second game of the LCS was just the best
incredible.
Game I've ever
incredible.
Well, but if we're talking about a good baseball game, it wasn't really because they sucked for the first 7 innings.
Yeah, they were awful until the yeah.
And like the game was flying through the first 7 innings, so it was kind of like, oh, this kind of stinks. The game against the Giants was so much fun because it was like towards the end of the game, it was like the 14th inning. It went to the 16th, but like when the 14th inning, I'm sitting like 4 rows up from the field. I've never sat this close. And Joe West is a home plate umpire, and I am heckling the shit out of him. Like, I am going at him. And he And he, in between innings, he just walks over to the net, he takes off his mask, and he looks at me, he just points, and then he turns back around. And I was like, yeah.
That's awesome.
That was awesome. I mean,
I
they
love
lost,
that.
and that team sucked.
No, but still,
Juan
that's a cool.
Juan
That's a cool
Centennial
moment.
played in that game, and he's a no-name, but that game was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler,
what do
what's
you got?
yours?
So for me, I mean, I haven't really seen any like crazy moments in Red Sox history, kind of. I've seen Pedroia play. I've seen Poppy play. Nothing really too crazy with them though. But actually, last year, 2019, kind of a weird year to have a favorite game I've been to. But this is actually kind of the first time I went to a game like kind of by myself. I went with my girlfriend at the time, and we took the train up together. We just, we were
I
in
was there with
Boston for the
you.
whole. You were at
Wasn't I
that
there
game,
with
yeah,
you?
yeah,
Yeah, I was
you
there
were
with
at that
you,
game,
yeah.
but we didn't go together though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of we were in Boston for the whole day. We went out to eat and stuff, and went to the game, and I got to see Chavis's first grand slam, which was absolutely awesome. I got that on video.
Oh, nice.
And I absolutely love that game. We just smoked Toronto, and it was one of my favorites because.
Ty, you got to tell him about the Tom Pannone story with that. You got to tell him.
Oh
that
yeah,
pissed me off so much.
You know what? You know Tom Pannone, right? With the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually like I'm boys with him. We worked out in the winter and stuff. We talked pretty often. So I was like, dude, like I want to come up to a Toronto game. Sox Toronto. We'll catch you on the field or whatever. He's like, yeah, man, come up. So this was like a few months prior to this game happening. And my girlfriend at the time bought me these tickets as a surprise. She was like, "Oh, look, we're gonna go see."
Oh, what a move, by the way! What a move!
Oh yeah, no, I know, absolutely. So we were all amped up, dude. And then the week of that, he called down to AAA. And
he was gonna get us. He was gonna get us on the field. I was so pissed.
That's brutal.
I was so pissed. I had.
It's a risk. It's a risk that you guys could have seen coming though, right? Because it's not like he's King Blue Jay.
Yeah.
So like
naturally,
that's something that does suck. But
it really, and the fate too about it really threw it in my face because we were sitting there. Me and my girlfriend were in Boston. We were just eating lunch before the game, and they had live on TV of Buffalo Bison, their game. And starting on the mound was Tom Pannone. He was just right there
against the. It was in Pawtucket too. I was
gonna say, what are the odds of seeing a Blue Jays minor league game on TV
in Boston too? Like what the hell?
Yeah, it's like what? That actually, I feel like that was meant to be then because the odds of you seeing that on a Boston TV are so slim.
The owner's a big Buffalo Bisons fan. He's like, gotta put it on.
Dude, I fucking love my Bisons.
Tyler, not to one-up you on that Blue Jays series, but Vladdy tossed me a ball, so.
Oh, that's big.
That was big. Big moment right there.
That is big.
Whatever.
But yeah, you guys got to hop on the round table. We got another one coming up Wednesday.
Yeah, I gotta improve my act. I gotta.
Just do it this way though, because this hasn't been choppy at all. Do it from your phone if you can, because Bryn's. I don't know. People keep messing. I don't even know what Bryn's doing. I think she's doing. She said I don't know what the invite process is. I probably should, but she's been the god of the round table in terms of deciding who's in, who's out. But yeah, you guys should hop on. We'll shoot the breeze. Definitely don't do your laptop though, Thomas. Don't.
I will not. This thing's a piece of shit, so I'm not gonna use that.
That's all you need.